You, what's happening? It's your man Don Bucks. Welcome to another episode of Cheap and Sharp, brought to you by Rap and Dough, the home of money conversations. And if you in the options trade, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button because that's what we talk about here. If this is your first time tapping in, so before I get into options trading, what I seen in the chart yesterday, I wanted to talk about environment. So I was thinking, because a lot of people don't know, I went to Catholic school, y'all. I went to Catholic school from first to eighth grade. And big shout out to my mom for doing that. Because now in adulthood, when I think back, because my tenure was 8 years, first to eighth grade. But my last year, I got kicked out, y'all. I got kicked out of Catholic school. And in eighth grade, it was the middle of the eighth grade year. So I had to start a whole new school in the middle of eighth grade. And y'all know that you graduate eighth grade to go to high school. So that was like a big grade to be getting kicked out in the middle of the year. But I say all that to say that is what began my public school education. And immediately, I seen a vast difference in the environment, not only, the people, but the learning environment. Like in Catholic school, let me just preface this. In Catholic school, first to like third grade, you did your homework or you lined up against the chalkboard and got a whack with a paddle. Like I went to Catholic school back in the 80s. So they was allowed to do that type of shit back in the 80s, you feel me? And the parents was all for it. Like, yeah, whip his ass. But so it was a whole nother thought process about doing your homework. Like some people are motivated by fear, some people are motivated by loss, but they didn't give us an option. They let us be motivated by fear, right? So we got our ass whooped when we do our homework. So that gave us an incentive to want to do our homework. You dig? So past third grade, you once you got past third grade, it was already ingrained in you to want to do your homework. So it was commonplace to do your homework. So if you're doing your homework, you're kind of smart to some degree. You're educated, right? In comparison to people that don't have that type of accountability placed upon them, right? If you don't have any repercussions for doing your homework, the thought process is different about learning or wanting to learn, right? So that element is what I noticed immediately going into the public school arena. And it's messed up because the teachers have a hard time trying to teach in these environments because you may have a handful of students out of 30 that are actually trying to learn. Maybe 5 or 6 out of the 30 are actually trying to learn. But, this is episode Headband, by the way. I'm going to get into all the chart stuff, but I had to get all this. So, like I said, I go off on tangents sometimes, but don't mind me. 5 or 6 out of the 30 are actually trying to learn. The other 25, 20, whatever amount of people, 24 other people are disrupting the class in some way, shape, or form. You got people in the back shooting dice, maybe. You got people over there clicked up, drawing out diagrams on how to steal cars. You got a clique of girls over there talking about this little grind house party they went to last night. So, and don't let the teacher say something because now it's a whole argument and that might take up half the class. So mind you, algebra is not a very easy topic if you don't know what you're doing. So imagine being in algebra class and you got all this going on around you and you trying to learn the concepts. It's a challenge trying to learn in these environments. So, like I said, shout out to my mom for knowing and recognizing that and putting me in, sacrificing and working extra hard, because that, going to Catholic school and these private schools, it costs to go there, whereas it was free to go to public school. So that showed me that there's a difference in the education when the parents are paying for the education. It's messed up that you gotta. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's messed up, but that's what it is. You have to pay or home train your kids if you want them to really be educated. Because these environments, back to my point, environments play a major key in your success or failure, whether it be in school or in life, like associating with certain people. Your environment is either going to be conducive to or against whatever goal you have out for yourself. So I'm gonna just end it on that. Make sure you are purposeful and mindful of the environments, on purpose with your environments, right? That you put yourself in, based upon whatever your goals is that you set for yourself. All right. So let's get into these charts. So yesterday, if y'all was tapped in, and if you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, notification bell so y'all know when I'm going live. So yesterday, I was talking about how we had a sell extreme, and that's the subtitle. Bollinger Band, sell extreme retracement. Because we know that when something is outside of the Bollinger Bands, it's going to come back in, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. Like here, it came back in. So let me make the screen bigger. All right. So yesterday, not yesterday, Friday. This is the daily chart we're looking at, y'all. The daily chart, which means that each one of these bars signify a whole day of trading. And just because it's red don't mean that it was all selling going on. Or just because it was green doesn't mean it was all buying going on. Stock market is a big auction block of companies, people trying to find fair value, and just to make money, basically. But they're trying to find fair value all day long, every day. And you can speculate as to what fair value is, but that's what's going on all day long, buying and selling. So just because there's a red bar there for the day doesn't mean it was all selling, and vice versa for the green. In order to see what was going on, you have to drop down into a lower time frame to get because this shows the whole day. So this comprises the whole day. But if you drop down into the 2 hour or the 4 hour, it'll show you increments of that day. So it'll show you what's going on in that one bar. That makes sense. No, it makes sense. Because you can't see everything that's going on in the daily. So in order to see it, you have to go down and break that day up into segments. And those segments are called trading time frames. So you can pick the 3 to 4 to 2, whatever it is that you want to pick based upon how long you're trying to be in a trade. All right. And what you're actually analyzing. Me, I like the 2 hour because I like the time that it goes, the time between support and resistance. So actually, I'm thinking about switching my time frame, my trading time frame, to the hour. But right now I'm using the 2 hour because it takes a couple of days for it to do what it's going to do. And that's how long I like to be in the trade, a couple of days to a week tops. But the 2 hour, I'm thinking about dropping it down to the hour as my trading time frame. But for this example, we're going to use the 2 hour, because this is what I've been using for a while. So this is the 2 hour. So now 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 bars represent today. So instead of you just seeing that one bar, that one red bar, you see that it was more than just selling going on. Now, yesterday, let's go back to the daily. What I said yesterday with this green, yesterday, because I was on what the chart says Sunday. So yesterday, when I talked about what was going to happen today, I added up the ingredients of what I see. So we had a big day Friday going into a resistance level. This is why you need to draw your levels to know where price is going and going to potentially stop. So this is where it went, and it ran into a resistance level. Not only did it run into a resistance level, but it also was a bit extreme on the Bollinger Band. And I had to change the title. No, I don't, because the title says Sell Extreme Retracement. And I was thinking of the stock that I'm trading because it's in direct opposition to the SPY. So if the SPY is at a sell extreme, because this is at a buy extreme, because green, all this green, and it's outside of the top of the Bollinger Band. So that's a buy extreme. So this would be a buy extreme retracement. The title says sell extreme retracement because the stock that I'm trading is doing this, but to the downside. So for those watching this, that's what the title is talking about, my particular stock. But for example purposes, I like to use the SPY as my teaching point because this is the SPY is a representation of the overall market. And you can gauge whatever stock you want to gauge based off of what the SPY is doing. Because a lot of times, out of 10, whatever the SPY is doing, a lot of the market is doing. Because the SPY, which is short for the S&P 500, is a representation of the overall stock market and the economy. And it houses all the 11 sectors of the stock market. So if the SPY is up, collectively, the market is going to be up, right? The SPY is down, collectively, the market is going to be down for the most part. So we always want to reference the SPY and see what that's doing. And then we can look at our stock and see if it's corresponding to the SPY, doing the same thing, going up. So yesterday I said this level plus an extreme on the Bollinger Band is going to equal a pullback. And today that happened. See, we only doing what the chart is telling us. But the only way for us to know what the chart is telling us is if we are putting the proper tools in place. Keep it simple. Y'all see what I use every day. The Bollinger Bands. I draw my levels on the daily. And I have my MACD. So the MACD, with this pullback, because what I said was we want to wait. We see a new high in the MACD and we see this green bar here. You want to wait for a pullback. You want to wait for a momentum divergence. Now, y'all heard me say this umpteen times. That is my trading system. I look for momentum divergences. Right? So this is coming down because it ran into extreme. It came down. So now we want to see how much weakness, like I said yesterday. This is what we're buying. We're buying this pullback because we have a new high in the MACD with weakness. That's called a momentum divergence. We want to see how much weakness before we enter. So we need to drop down into our trading time frame to see how much weakness we're going to have. So we need to wait, because these levels are still the daily levels, right? We need to wait to see how much red we're going to have. Because yes, this is a momentum divergence on the daily. That's what we're positioning for. We're positioning for the daily price action, but only way to position for the longer term daily price action is to see what's going on in the daily and then position ourselves by seeing what's going on in it in a trading time frame. In this example, we're using the 2 hour. So here's that momentum divergence from the daily. We need to see how much red. My guesstimate is it'll probably come down to about here. Because each time frame has their own levels. But if y'all remember from the older videos, the later time frame holds precedent. So that's why we want to position for the later time frame levels and price action. But we do that by dropping down to get precise, to see inside of that bar. So we break that bar into segments by going into a trading time frame. So these are the segments of that daily bar. We need to see how many of these red bars we're going to get. When it stops, it's going to turn green. That's when we're going to get our contracts, our call contracts, to the next level. So if it drops down to here, to 184, what's the next level up? The next level up is here, 390. So if it stops here and it turns green, because that's high probability stuff usually bounces off of the moving average, plus it's a level. So a level, it's a level plus the Bollinger Band. My guesstimate is it's going to stop here, 384-ish tomorrow, before bouncing. So if I'm waiting for this, that's the patience that we need to exercise. We're waiting, but now that you know what you're waiting for, now that patience holds a little bit more value. We know what we're waiting for. For a little bit more precision as a beginner, I would draw a level here. I would draw my levels in the 2 hour as well, but as a beginner, you might want to label it so you know which one is which. So this is a 2 hour level. These up here, these other ones are the levels from the daily. These are the ones that hold the most weight. But these are some intermediate levels that it's going to incur on its way to the heavier or later time frame level. So these are intermediate levels. You wasn't able to see these in the daily. But if you drop down, you'll see the intermediate levels. So if this is an intermediate level, I'm guesstimating that the weakness is going to stop here. We're going to see another red bar, and I believe it's going to bounce off this level and Bollinger Band. before continuing up. And the next level up is 389, 390. So if it stops here, I'll be doing calls. If you're doing calls, if you're doing the SPY, this is if you're doing the SPY. If it stops here, now remember, this is not financial advice. This is educational purposes only. Stop playing. So when it stops here, this is where I'll grab my contract. I would do a 390 call. What's today? Monday. I'll do a 390 call 10 days out. At the most, 10 days out at the most. Because I would expect it to do that within a couple days before Friday. But remember, you're only holding your contract 50 to 75% of the total expiration. So if you have a 10-day expiration date, you're only holding it for 5-6 days. So it needs to be making its move within those 5 or 6 days, maybe 7 days tops, but that's very tops. So if you plan on holding this joint, let's say you get in it tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's 3 days. If you plan on this thing making its move in 3 days, you need to have nothing shorter than a 6-day contract, 6-day expiration. All right. So that's how that works. So we're waiting tomorrow, just to recap. Tomorrow we're waiting for some more because this is a buy side extreme retracement. So I may change the title, I may not, but if you're watching this, you know what I meant. This is a sell side retracement, Bollinger Band retracement. It went extreme and it hit a level. And yesterday I said it was going to pull back, which it did. So what we're doing here is we're waiting to see how much weakness this is going to show. It may come down some more before continuing back up, or it may bounce from here. Let me see what we got. Yeah, I believe it's going to come down some more. It's going to come, I think it's going to come down to 284-ish, 285-ish, and then bounce tomorrow. High probability of that happening. So if you're playing the SPY, I'll be waiting for some more weakness before entry, which corresponds with our momentum divergence from the daily, right? This weakness with this new high. All right. So the next level up is 390. And then the next level up from there is 394. So if it breaks 390, we're going to 394 after that. So tomorrow, look for some more weakness, then a bounce to the next level. That's what I'm looking for tomorrow. It's Cheef and Chart. It's your man Don Bucks. If you want to know how to learn, if you want to learn how to swing trade like this, hit the description. Feel free to have at the course. Also hit the notification bell and the subscribe button if you haven't already. And that's it, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And always remember, ain't no competition. It's always you versus you. Peace.